So back to work again today. It's been about a year and a half or so since I've done anything, but I'm back again, finishing restructuring the ceilings in here. This will be our master bathroom. Already done the section over here where our bedroom area will be. And now I gotta do all this. So I'm taking all these existing trusses, taking this lower section of the truss out, and then coming back in with 2x12s every 12 inches or so. About 6 years ago, our family moved into this early 1900s, 10,000 square foot general store building and began working to renovate it into our home. The building was originally built in 1902 as a general store, but over the years there have been a variety of businesses that have operated inside of it, including a barber shop, a small grocery store, and most recently a custom furniture store and cafe. If you would like to follow along with our family as we go on this journey of converting this historic building into our home, then don't forget to click on the subscribe button. So today, continuing on with the ceilings over here. Yeah, I'd finished, this is the actual bedroom area of the master suite. And so this section here I got done. The problem that I ran into was when you move over to this side, you have access to, the exterior wall here, and this plate here is pretty easy to have to just stick up the new 2x12 support there. So that's fine. The problem was when you get over to here, it's just kind of a different story because you have just things running all over the place. And so I didn't know how I was going to get the 2x12 and get it set up on top somewhere where it'd be secure and structurally sound. So I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to be able to set the 2x12s up on the beam that's running through the middle of the building, how I was going to be able to fasten it to that and get enough of the 2x12 sitting on top of the beam that it would be, solid. And just when I don't know what I'm doing and doubt that I'm doing it correctly, just kind of lose all motivation to keep working. Today I'm back to work on the primary bedroom and bathroom area. If you've watched any of our other videos and you know that one of the main challenges we've had with this section of the building is restructuring the roof support so that we can raise the ceiling height in this space. So basically what I'm doing then is I'm coming in between the two existing trusses and putting a 2x12 in the middle and then butting the other one right up against not this lower section, but the 2x6, I think it's 2x6 or 2x8 up here at the top that's gonna stay in. This bottom section comes out, the top 2x8 here stays in. One 2x12 is just gonna be, again, just sistered to the 2x8, and then another one comes here in the center. And so I'm having to cut out all this stuff that's in between and then blocking it up a little bit better, a little bit higher, and then first putting the one up sistered against the 2x8 and then get it all kind of locked in place and then come in and put the next one in down the middle. It'll add a lot of ceiling height. If you can't tell, these are pretty low. I can just reach all the way up here. You can see how low this is. Our bedroom and bathroom will be on the second floor, but the problem was that the roof trusses came down pretty low into this space and would have left us with only around 6.5 or a little under 7 foot of ceiling height if we would have left them as they were. So we could have just left the roof support as it was and had really low ceilings, but since we do plan for this to be our permanent home, it seemed worth the effort to do the extra work to add in some additional ceiling height. So I'm about to lift the first beam up in place, and I have not been doing much manual labor for about a year, over a year. So I have a bad feeling this is going to be a lot heavier to do by myself than it was last time, but we'll see how it goes. The building has a slanted roof that rises toward the front, and the space where our bedroom will be is on the far back side of the building, which happens to be where the roof is at its lowest. And so even with restructuring the roof support, the ceiling toward the back end of our bedroom will still be fairly low, but as it moves forward into the front of the room and the area where our bathroom will be, we'll end up gaining several feet of ceiling height. The ceiling slants up, so by the time you get up here, it's getting close to 8 foot. Yeah, makes a big difference. And so although it has been a lot of extra work, I think it will be well worth it in the end. When I last worked up here, I had mostly finished up the section of the ceiling over our bedroom area, but when I got to the section that continues over the bathroom and into the second floor landing, I ran into some issues that caused me to have to kind of put the project on pause until I could figure out how to move forward. This side, which is the bathroom side, was just a lot more complicated. There's just a lot of different stuff that was in the way. The access to the beam, there wasn't really as much access to get these new 2x12s in there and sat up on top of the beam like I could do over there. I had this like steel, I think it's some sort of bracing that's keeping the roof or the building from shifting or moving. And then you can see like it has this steel pipe that's part of it that runs all the way down there and then all the way over there. And so all that to say, this side figuring out how I was going to get these new 2x12s in here and sat up on top of the beam was just a little bit more complicated. Since I am dealing with a project that involves the structural integrity of the roof, I really didn't want to keep going until I felt confident that what I was doing was going to work and that it would be plenty strong enough to support the roof. Once I got to this point and was looking back over the work that I had already finished, I started to second guess whether the 2x12s that I had installed would be sufficient to hold the weight of the roof, being that they were covering an almost 20-foot span. So between not really knowing how to continue forward and second guessing the work I had already done, I basically just stopped working for a while until I could figure out the best way to move forward. Over the last year, I've had a couple different contractors come in to look at the project who told me that the new 2x12 rafters on 12-inch centers would be more than enough to hold the weight of the roof. And they gave me some ideas for how to install the rafters in the more difficult section over the bathroom. So once I was reassured that the method I was using would be plenty strong enough and had a plan for how to do the remaining section over the bathroom, I felt a lot better and more confident about moving forward. And so if you've been wondering why we haven't been putting out as many videos for quite a while now, that's really why. Every once in a while on this project, we seem to just run into things that are just a bit above our pay grade that we have to stop and figure out. So between running into sort of issues like that and, having 4 kids, both my wife and I work, then it really leaves us with little time and even sometimes little motivation to be able to put a lot of time and effort into moving on with the project. How I'm doing this, I'm coming in between each truss and cutting out this section here so that on this side, the 2x12 can come in, and I'm having to notch them a little bit just so that they can rest on the existing support here. And then I'll come underneath all these, coming underneath this and blocking it where I need to, right directly underneath that middle 2x12 that will be here. And then I'll probably come down here as well where some of this beam is. This is the beam here that runs all the way across, and then you have all all this stuff going on. But I'm going to come in and block all the way down to the beam. And then underneath that is this wall, which goes all the way down to the basement. So it'll be very well supported. But yeah, it's just that long process of having to come in and cut everything out and notch this side of the 2x12s just so they can rest on that. So this is taking multiple days to do. This is, I think, the third day back up here again, trying to get this bathroom section done. I have fortunately found out kind of an easier method to get these 2x12s up there. Before, what I was doing is I would take these out and then come up and put the 2x12s in so that these lower portions of the truss were not in the way. But what I'm doing on this side, which is actually making it a ton easier, is I'm leaving these bottom sections for now. I'm leaving these lower parts of the trusses. That way I can stick like a 2x4 or something, and I'm putting, 1, 2, or 3 all the way down up in there. So if it does slip, it just falls on that and kind of catches it, and less risk that I'm gonna knock myself out. These 2x12s, multiple times I've gotten it up on one end, gone back over to the other side, and I've had it slipped off on the other side and just fall and clock me in the head. And so that's happened multiple times during this process. And so fortunately I figured this way out of doing it and having those boards there to help kind of brace it has been super helpful. The ceilings, I think once I get these done, that'll feel like a big accomplishment, and then can come in and start framing in the bathroom and getting electrical ran, figuring out HVAC. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So here we go. I think this is probably one of the big challenges of doing a DIY project like this, especially when you're dealing with a building that's as big as this one, is that you run into a lot of things that are way over your head, and sometimes you just have to stop and figure them out and keep learning as you go. This has definitely been quite a setback and slowed down progress a lot over the last year. When I don't feel clear or confident about what I'm doing, I somewhat tend to lose all motivation. I didn't want to proceed and end up doing a bunch of work that I would later realize wasn't done right or could potentially compromise the roof. And we couldn't afford to pay a company to come in and finish out the ceiling part for us, although we did consider doing that for a while. So between not knowing how to continue the project, as well as my wife and I both working jobs during the week and having our 4 kids, I didn't have much time or mental space to figure it out. And so, as has happened a few times since we started this project, and as I'm sure will happen again before we finished, we had to put it on a bit of a pause, which unfortunately meant that not much progress has been made the last year. But now that we figured out how to move forward, finishing up the ceiling project has really been moving pretty quickly. So I got all the 2x12s in up over the bathroom area. Have a few left in the kind of the walkway, balcony, mezzanine area that I'll have to put in still. But I'm coming in here now and I'm putting in this wall that's going to be both serving as built-in cabinets and shelving, and then also this wall is going to be coming up underneath these 2x12s I just put in and just giving them a little bit of extra support. So this wall in the end is going to be very beefed up and going to basically be a big tank of a wall, but it's going to definitely have a lot of strength to it. So making some progress up here. As you can see, I finally got all the old roof trusses that used to drop down as low as those ones there. All those are out. And so got all the 2x12s in. And now we're ready to frame in the bathroom here. But yeah, it's been a lot of work, but I think it's definitely worth it. You can see by the time the ceiling gets over here how much height was added to the ceiling height in here. So moving along.